2024 may stand out as a mixed year for Sony between the mandatory PSN linking for its PC titles, the failure of Concord, and PlayStation VR 2 continuing to trend downwards. However, its successes are far higher, and nowhere is that more apparent than with the PS5's game library. First-party titles were few and far between, but we still witnessed some of the best third-party offerings, many exclusive, and more than a few incredible indie titles. So check out the 20 best PS5 games from 2024 and why you should play them. Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. Sony's remastered trend hasn't received the warmest reception over the years, but Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered more than earns its flowers. It completely revamps and improves its environments with more foliage, better lighting and shadows, and over 10 hours of new motion capture animation. Character models are pretty much carried over from Forbidden West and look fantastic. For just $50, $10 if you own the original, it is a pretty good deal. Life is Strange Double Exposure. As a fan of the first Life is Strange, Double Exposure represented a full circle moment. Max Caulfield returned, struggling with her past while trying to fit in with her new life at Caledon. When tragedy strikes, her rewind powers turn into something else entirely, the ability to move between parallel dimensions. From a gameplay standpoint, it's very intriguing, especially when keeping track of the differences in both worlds and using items from one to solve puzzles in another. And while I don't vibe with the ending, the characterization is still endearing, resulting in some sweet character moments and more than a few conflicts with Max's past. MLB The Show 24. Year in and year out, MLB The Show maintains a steady line of quality, and even if some modes are getting a bit tired, MLB The Show 24 is still a worthy addition. Franchise mode is better than ever, while its storylines offer even more memorable stories from the annals of history. The gameplay also feels fresh thanks to impact plays, the pitch clock, and more, with exceptional responsiveness. Though Sony San Diego really needs to bring its A game with the next game, MLB The Show 24 still knocks it out of the park. The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak. With a new hero, a new setting, new combat mechanics, including an option for real-time combat, and a new engine for improved visuals, The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak pulls out all of the stops. However, despite all of these new additions, it retains the signature feel of a Kiseki game, offering a multi-layered storyline with conspiracies and shady dealings, backed by compelling characters. Banishers Ghosts of New Eden. Dontnod's latest action RPG is one of moral conflicts and morose settings against the backdrop of late 70s New England. The tale of Red and Antia, where the former struggles to bring the latter back to life or allows her to pass on, is one rife with intriguing characters, malevolent spirits, and intense combat. As far as underrated titles go, Banishers Ghost of New Eden ranks high and is worth playing if you seek out something different. Stellar Blade. Though it starts as a hack-and-slash title with rising vibes, Shift Up's Stellar Blade quickly develops into something. The combat is different, embracing parries and more measured strikes while providing plenty of opportunity for dodges and skills. Meanwhile, the visuals are simply stunning, especially with the environments and effects. Best of all, it offers a fairly challenging experience, even if the story can feel imminently forgettable. In a year with several other excellent action titles, Stellar Blade may not reign at the top, but it stands alongside them just fine. The Plucky Squire. All possible futures, The Plucky Squire is somewhat of a Zelda game at its core, but effortlessly mashes together multiple genres and art styles in incredible ways. You could go from a regular top-down boss fight to a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up and even a turn-based RPG. Even the exploration sometimes shifts to 2D and 3D platforming with a bit of stealth thrown in. Though not the longest adventure, The Plucky Squire still delivers one with heart. Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. The one that started it all, at least from a lore standpoint, Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake delivers on everything that made the original great. It retains the pacing, world design, story, and combat, but accentuates it with incredible new visuals, balancing old-school sprites with sharp lighting and 3D environments. New content like episodes with Ortega and arenas to battle with captured monsters alongside tactics in battles and more party customization add to the experience while retaining everything that makes it great. Palworld. After many months and while dealing with an injunction from Nintendo, Pocket Pair's Palworld is available for PS5. Not only did players finally get to experience the thrill of capturing and borderline murdering pals and putting them to work for base building, they also benefited from a much more polished product, alongside features like PvP and raid bosses. With a major new island on the way that's 6 times that of Sakurajima, it's a pretty good time to jump into Palworld. Tekken 8. Say what you will about the monetization, and there's certainly a lot, Tekken 8 is a fantastic fighting game. The base roster is diverse, with newcomers like Reina, Victor, Azucena offering fun playstyles, and story modes offering a thunderous conclusion to the conflict between Kazuya and Jin. The heat system feels mostly great, and even if online play isn't the best, the wealth of single-player content, from episodes to arcade quest and Super Ghost Battle, can be enjoyable. Neva. Like Greece, Nomada Studios' gorgeous new side-scroller hits you right out of the gate, with Alba caring for a survivor wolf pup against the backdrop of a crumbling world. Neva is more than a parable for preserving nature. It's also an emotional journey, cycling through parenthood, growing up, moving on, and back. It also doesn't hurt that the gameplay is solid all around, with excellent platforming and combat in some of the most gorgeous, hand-drawn 2D environments that you'll ever see. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. You have to feel for the team behind Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown because it is an excellent title. The beautiful world, which tests your combat and platforming skills, is fun to embrace, with lots to discover and challenging bosses to fight. Add a compelling story and solid presentation, and The Lost Crown is one of the better side-scrollers of the year. Dragon's Dogma 2. If Dragon's Dogma 2 has proved anything, it's that being lifted by a monster and unceremoniously dropped from the sky, only for your pawn to catch you, is a wonderful feeling. And if they don't, well, there's always next time. Mired as it was with performance issues at launch, the open world is massive and brimming with secrets to discover and enemies to slay. Combat feels even better than other RPGs, and with the Warfarer allowing you to harness multiple abilities, there are even more options than before. Helldivers 2. Few titles have seen consistent popularity and more than a bit of controversy than Helldivers 2. Nevertheless, we keep coming back to Arrowhead's shooter, whether it's to try out new weapons or hurl ourselves into a new major order. The sheer chaos of a battlefield, with explosions ringing out, turrets firing away, and stratagems littering the field, can feel relaxing at times. Coupled with a galactic war that's evolved significantly over months and hijinks with other players, Helldivers 2 is one of the most enjoyable multiplayer experiences in years. Like a Dragon: Infinite Wealth. If Like a Dragon can claim one thing, it's the ability to switch between serious drama and over-the-top, lighthearted fun. Infinite Wealth packs plenty of both while seemingly committing to drowning players in quality content. Pursue Ichiban's story in Honolulu and attempt to find his mother, manage a resort in Dondoko Island, play faux Pokemon with Sujimon, or engage in the dozen or so play spots available. Arcade games, karaoke, qualification tests, bonding events, and the list just goes on. While the combat savvy can engage in random dungeons and fight the elite keepers of the city. It's almost too much, but in a good way. Black Myth: Wukong. If you're craving an action RPG unlike anything out there, with more than its share of Souls-like mechanics, Game Science's Black Myth: Wukong is worth checking out. Between the gorgeous visuals and art direction, it features an impressive lineup of bosses, numerous techniques to unlock, including transformations, and tons to discover. Those who enjoyed Journey to the West will find plenty to love about the narrative, but overall, it's just an incredible, action-packed experience. Astrobot. Between the 100-hour RPGs and challenging action titles, sometimes it's good to unwind with a colorful, well-paced platformer. Astrobot delivers in spades with an amazing variety of levels and over 300 bots to collect, including cameos from significant PlayStation franchises over the years. Though some may be skeptical of the 12 to 15-hour runtime, the absolute lack of padding and razor-sharp pacing make for an incredible platforming experience. Silent Hill 2 Remake. Even with all of the pressure and expectations, Bloober Team delivered an excellent remake of Silent Hill 2. The new perspective translates extremely well to the action while adding to the atmosphere of dread and foreboding. Of course, the visuals, sound design, and performances aid in that endeavor, dragging players once more into the abyss. And if all of that isn't enough, Silent Hill 2 Remake features enough references and secrets to support long-running theories that it may very well be a spiral from which there's no escape. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Between inventing new ways to outright slaughter players regardless of their builds or experience, and crafting some of the best environments in an open-world game, From Software has its hands full. Despite the expansion tag, Shadow of the Erdtree feels like a brand new title, packed with unique bosses, dozens of new items and spells, and unrelenting challenges. It feels like a proper end game, pushing players to the brink and delivering some of the most satisfying boss fights in gaming. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Can anyone know how the Final Fantasy VII Remake story will end? Well, probably not, but that doesn't mean that this isn't an incredible ride. With massive open-world environments to explore, revamped combat mechanics featuring new party members and synergies, tons of mini-games and side quests, and excellent production values, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is the RPG to play this year. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Vault, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.